I was born in 1994. Everybody says their birth year is the best, but 1994 is a truly exceptional year. This year, people went to the cinema to watch Forrest Gump, Pulp Fiction, and The Lion King, while Jim Carrey becomes famous in this mask.
Okay.
It's the year people put on the radio and get the sad news from the death of Kurt Cobain. The Spice Girls get together, Michael Jackson's Already White, and Korn reinvents metal music. The Football World Championship is hosted by the United States, even though they don't understand the game. And Michael Schumacher becomes Formula One champion for the first time ever. When our parents turned on the TV, they celebrated the death of serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer and see O.J. Simpson get chased in real time. The first season of Friends passes on screens, and Sony revealed the PlayStation for the first time ever. At schools, the kids are playing while the earth is shattered by the arrival of Yahoo. The young Jeff Bezos creates Amazon in a garage in Seattle.
First office of Amazon.com Inc.
While Nelson Mandela is elected president in South Africa. Meanwhile, a small animation studio called Pixar was working on what would become Toy Story, the first full-length computer-animated feature film. At this time, Apple, Google, and Meta had no power. We didn't have smartphones nor networks. We connected with others only in real life. And all this generation based on creativity is ready to reinvent the world. Today, we are all 30 years old. And for the next 20 years, the world belongs to us.
I quit my office job 10 months ago. In fact, I wrote my resignation letter on my 30th birthday. So this one might be the biggest lesson of my 20s. I spent 6 years studying. I was in that endless loop of, I need a degree to feel secure, but I don't know what I want to do. So I did the thing most people do. Study something general, hoping it would magically lead to a good job that I enjoyed. I did 2 internships, worked in bars and restaurants on weekends to save enough for travel. I don't remember much of my studies. I was mostly drunk or high. But what I really remember, the humanitarian missions I did between semesters. Those trips made me feel alive. But reality check, Raph, you need an income. So I decided I needed a master's degree and took a €12,000 loan from the bank to finance it. Now here's the kicker about business school. 95% of the students don't pay for it. Their parents do. The remaining 5% are either geniuses with scholarships or dumb bastards like me who think taking out a loan is a good idea. And here's my honest take. I regret taking out that loan for my master's. Don't get me wrong, I had a lot of fun studying. Probably too much fun. And I don't regret it because of all the friends I made. But if I could talk to my 27-year-old, I'd tell him not to study business. If you want to be a doctor, lawyer, or pilot, go for it. Those degrees are practical. But business? Honestly, I could have learned everything I did on YouTube for free. And I would have saved myself a ton of debt. So after my master's, I got that 9-to-5 office job. The security I thought I was craving. Bullshit. The whole 9-to-5 grind framework is outdated. For our parents, sure, it made sense. They could afford a house, a car, life was more affordable. But there I was, sitting in an office, €20,000 in debt, barely scraping by. So what does that mean? Security is an illusion. There's no such thing. Any day a pandemic could hit, a war could break out, or an economic crisis could take your job away. So invest in yourself, learn valuable skills, take risks, try new things, make it fun. And if you end up working in a surf shop in Costa Rica, that's fucking awesome. At the end of the day, you'll be happy you tried, and most importantly, you won't regret not trying. Every relationship has an emotional bank account. I know it sounds a bit transactional and cold, but hear me out. I learned this from the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and it's stuck with me ever since. Every time you do something positive for your partner, like a compliment, a thoughtful gesture, or just spending quality time together, it's like making a deposit into your emotional bank account. These small acts build trust, strengthen your bond, and create a sense of security. But just like any bank account, if you make too many withdrawals, maybe you neglect them, you get into arguments, or break promises, the account starts to run low. Let me give you a personal example. 2 years ago, my parents divorced, and that hit me harder than I'd like to admit. I always thought I had the perfect family. My mom and my dad were giving my siblings and me this loving umbrella of stability. Looking back, I realized my dad and my mom didn't make many emotional deposits in their relationship. It always looked like everything was fine, but emotionally between them, there wasn't much in the account. And when things got tough, there wasn't enough in the balance to weather the storm. Watching my parents go through a divorce taught me a valuable lesson. If you don't consistently make deposits into your relationship, they'll eventually reach their breaking point. Now, I'm not just talking about romantic relationships. This applies to your friendships, family, and even the relationship with yourself, which in my opinion is the most important of all. Take time and take care of yourself. You can skip the gym once, drink yourself to oblivion once, and neglect your mental health once in a while. But those are withdrawals, and if you don't make deposits soon, shit will go sideways. I want to finish this with something that I've really struggled with in my 20s, and that is ego. Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday taught me a valuable lesson I wish I had learned earlier. It's the last book I read in my 20s, and this one truly hit home. Ego is the thing that stops you from growing, from learning, from achieving your full potential. For most of my 20s, I had a pretty strong ego. I thought I was smarter than I really was, more capable than I was, and I let that drive my actions. It led to jealousy, arrogance, and honestly, a lot of missed opportunities. When I look back, I see how many experiences I ruined because I couldn't get out of my own way. I tried to prove myself. I needed validation, and that fueled all my decisions. But here's the truth. Ego blocks your growth. It makes you defensive when someone gives you feedback. It makes you overconfident when you should be humble. And it makes you resentful when others succeed. Ego keeps you stuck in the past, constantly worried about being right or better than others. I've learned that the moment you stop learning is the moment your ego takes over. And I let ego dictate so many of my choices. It made me act in ways I'm not proud of. It made me competitive for all the wrong reasons. Kept me from listening to others, and ultimately held me back from becoming the person I want to be. So my advice to you, especially as we hit 30, is to let go of the need to be right all the time. Embrace humility. Check your ego at the door and start seeing things for what they truly are, not how your ego wants you to perceive them. Humility and self-awareness are the real keys to growth, and I wish I knew that earlier. So thanks for tuning in. I'm Rapha, and see you in the next one.